it seemed like for a while I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and not that I didn't want to do discus, but I just wanted to try other stuff, and I spent that last year trying other stuff, and it was fun. I learned a lot, and I think it just made me a better fish keeper. Hey guys, how's it going? So it's been a while since I made a video, and there's a few reasons why. When I started this YouTube channel, it was more of almost a dare, or something that someone told me that couldn't be done and it would take forever to get a YouTube channel started. Well, I did real well pretty quick. So I was kind of shocked on how fast my channel grew with what little I knew about YouTube, what little I knew about cameras and filming and video and all that and editing. So this is my goal, is now to take this channel full time. It won't happen right away. It's going to take a little time. It's going to take about a year to totally transition over. So I took 2 months off, and I kind of talked to my wife, and we kind of try to figure out the potential of this, if this could work or not, and so we've decided that we're going to go forward with it. Now this is going to take about a year to totally get transitioned over to full-time YouTube, full-time fish room, but I'm going to start creating videos again. So I kind of just stepped away, and what I did basically is I sold all my fish. I took everything in this room that wasn't really of really high interest to me and sold it. That included all my discus, most of my rams, everything, and a lot of my plecos. And what I did is I went out and purchased all wild fish. So yes, I'm going to breed wilds. That's my goal. And I've actually got into the Ultim angels. I've got wild Ultims now, and we're going to make a video on those. Now, all the discus came in, all the wilds came in, everything did really well, everything's acclimating, everything's being quarantined, everything's going, so we're going through that quarantine process right now. So everything doesn't look perfect on, as far as filming, but that'll come up. Now the Ultims I did struggle with. That's pretty common with the Ultims, especially the wilds, because they come in and they're just not usually looking that good or that healthy. For one, a wild fish is already usually not healthy, especially the younger ones, but then the shipping process from where they come from in Colombia and Venezuela, it's not the best procedure. So I actually got 10 right now, and we're acclimating them and getting them ready, and they're looking pretty good. So we'll go through those on further videos. So in that 2 months, I have been doing a ton of testing. I've been testing new foods. I've been testing recipes of foods, of home foods. I've been testing new procedures for medicating, because the wilds tend to have a little bit more of a parasite problem than the domestics. Now the domestics still have those problems, but the wilds are another level where you can bring a fish in and it can really decimate a room. So I've really worked on coming up with good systems as far as getting meds into fish and having great results. So that's why I'm kind of parked in front of this tank. These guys up here are the wild Peruvian green, and they've done real well, and they are my new procedure as far as how to quarantine. So they're eating, they eat everything that's dropped in the tank, they're very aggressive. Now down below are my reds. Now a lot of you seen the reds come in, the Brazilian Barurais. We had one do a bounce back, or a ping pong. It came back and it had an issue where it stopped eating, and I really didn't notice it at first because they were doing so well. But what I did notice is one fish, you know how you see fish when they're growing, you can kind of see they're either staying the same or they're getting, chunkier. This fish was actually retracting a little bit. So I figured out, oh, we got some internal parasites that I didn't get to. So I redid everything with them, and they're going on their final levamisole treatment in about 15 days. They've gone through 2 already, and they've gone through the whole metroprosy treatment again. So that's one thing I'll talk about in the future, is the levamisole and how to treat that. And you're going to get the numbing effect on the fish, there's just no doubt about that. So how to treat that, how to keep that in the water, but not pollute your water, not do water changes and stuff like that. So It's a little bit more involved and a little bit more of a higher end thing to do that correctly. Now what I've really done is I've gone through all my notes. I have about 13 envelopes or books like this that I've went through and read all my old notes from 30 years. I've read every page. Most of it I remembered, a lot of it I didn't, and I noticed that there was some things that I was forgetting. So it was important for me to go through that and spend that 2 months to really first reset the room, to buy fish I really want to take care of, fish I want to spawn, and fish I want to get out to, you know, the public. Our goal is in 1 year to have a full-time YouTube channel. I will be posting videos up into that year, but within that year I want to be doing this full-time, breeding the fish, merchandising and all that stuff, and you know, memberships, and maybe once I can't answer all your questions on comments, I'll probably move into live streaming. It's just a natural progression into that, because when people want answers, they want them quickly. I try to get to all my comments. I'm not perfect. I do miss some, and I do delay. So I think a live stream would be good, and whether that happens in 6 months, 9 months, or a year, that's on the future plans. So another thing I'm going to be doing is building a website. I built a few of them. It'll be, you know, tailored to this business that I'm going to be creating as far as the fish room, YouTube, merchandising, all that stuff. But one thing I will say is my local fish store, the Waterfront, and that's thewaterfrontslc.com. So Taylor is the manager, and he is someone that I believe will really take this company to a whole nother level. Not that it wasn't climbing, because it was climbing, but I think with his help they can really get to a next level you know, status. I will be doing a fish tour of the store, because it will blow you away what's going on there. It's pretty much behind the scenes, but I just kind of want to give you guys the inside of what is happening as far as just not only here locally, but in Salt Lake City, because I live about 30 miles from Salt Lake City. But I travel out there probably 2 or 3 times a week, and you know, we kind of are not really collaborating yet, but I hope to in the future. That would be awesome. The discus will be what I will be focusing on the most. And that's quite a transition, because discus almost became the secondary of my channel. Yes, I did do discus videos. It's just something I've done for so long. But now that I'm moving into these wilds, kind of giving me a new excitement, I guess is a good way to put it, on this hobby. Not that I was bored before, because I could have kept going and I enjoyed every single day, but I really am excited to come down to my fish room and get these fish, you know, healthy, and then breeding, and then getting the stock out. That's really what it's about for me. Other fish I'll be working with, I still have the black ram. Now, the black ram is going to take some time to get exactly what I'm looking for, because they are so highly inbred. And I need to take a few generations, 3 or 4 generations, to really get the solid black. I mean, they're black rams. I mean, they're midnights, but they have a little bit of the blue and the silver in them, which is fine. They're still the most beautiful rams I've ever seen. They're actually pretty hardy. I'm pretty shocked on how hardy. Very aggressive and very hard to breed. So for me, that challenge is something that I enjoy. And I'm always going to try to breed them with the fry. I'm not really into artificially raising fish. You know, when you get into the stir-bys, those obviously you got to pull the eggs and do those artificially. There's no choice, because the parents have no parental instinct at all. They do not take care of their fry. They do not take care of their eggs. They basically turn around and eat those eggs for protein. And then in my line of guppies, I'm about 10 generations, and I'm trying to get a tiger stripe with a red finnage, small finnage, not big finnage. A quicker guppy that can live with most fish. That's kind of my goal. I don't want the derpy guppy. I'm not looking for that. Don't enjoy that myself personally. I love to see a guppy that can really take care of itself as far as speed and beauty. So that's kind of my thing. So I'm 10 generations in. I probably have 5 or 6, maybe 10 more to get exactly what I want to get that strength set. So that's something I'm working on. So far that's about it. I have my Tankanegans, but those are kind of my project. That's something that I enjoy, and breed or not, the catfish, the simless. Doesn't really matter to me. I just enjoy that tank, and that's kind of a biotope tank of Tanganyika. So that's something that, if they breed, great. But my main thrust of this channel and of this room is wild discus. I want to breed heckles. I want to breed, now in the wild, you know, you guys, we have all these strains in the hobby, and in the wild there's green, there's blue, there's brown, there's heckle. That's what you get. Okay, now there's variants of those, but most of the domestics that have come out of the wild over the years, you know, 40 years or whatever, are the browns. I do have an Instagram channel. You can follow that Instagram channel and they'll kind of show you more of a day-to-day thing as far as what fish I have, what fish I'm, you know, moving in or moving out. It's under Sheller Aquatics on Instagram, so you can go check that out if it's something you're interested in. It's been a couple months since I've been on video, so I'm not nervous, but I'm just not as focused as I was, as you know, looking at the camera. So excuse me for not being as polished as I was. It's going to take some time to get back to that. Okay. So I just want to thank you guys for hanging out, and I just wanted to say that I'm pretty excited about where this is going to go. I believe that it can be pretty amazing. I believe I can breed these wild fish. I believe I can get them out to the public. And I really think the stripes are cool. I really want to bring the stripes back. That's my thing, is bringing more of a wild fish to the public. Now trends are still kind of leaning towards the domestics, but I feel like we're going back to the wilds. I think that it's more of a perfect fish. Now people say to me all the time, all wild fish are hard to keep. I find just the opposite true. I had a heckle dinner plate come in, probably had this much water in the bag, had just enough to put 1 gill underwater. I'm thinking there's no way this fish is going to make it. Pulled that fish out, lifted it up, looked at it, it was barely breathing, dropped it in the tank, thing swam away, and right now it's looking great. It's eating, it's looking healthy. You know, it could have had an ammonia issue and it might still have some issues, but if that happened to a domestic, that fish is a goner. It doesn't even make it out of the bag. So this notion that wilds are finicky or they're not as hardy, it's just the opposite. They're some of the hardiest fish. You got to figure what they go through in the wild, what they have to, you know, do to survive. So these fish have to be strong. They have to be hardy. They have to be able to survive in the harshest conditions. So our fish tanks are not harsh. If they're treated correctly, they should be a sanctuary for these wild fish. So they do real well in our aquariums. All right. So if you enjoy this video and you want to see where we started this channel, check out this video here. It'll take you back over a year ago and show the room how it was then and then how it is now. Alright guys, have a good one. Take care.